In the headlines, APC postpones presidential screening as PDP primaries fraught with controversy in some states. Boko Haram kills 2 policemen, injures 5 in Borno ambush. 7 killed in fresh violence in Anambra. And on the foreign scene, new Australian Prime Minister sworn in. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I'm Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. The screening exercise for the presidential aspirants of the All Progressive Congress, APC, earlier scheduled to be held on Monday, 23rd of May 2022, is hereby postponed. This is disclosed in a statement signed by the APC National Publicity Secretary, Felix Morka. According to the statement, a new date for the exercise will be announced. Meanwhile, the ongoing primaries of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has been fraught with controversy in different parts of the country. In Niger State, some persons sustained injuries at Lemu, the headquarters of Bako local government area. Daily Trust gathered that the primaries, which started late, could not be completed in the local government following the violence that broke out between supporters of 2 frontline aspirants, Alhaji Gimba Tswatagi and Alhaji Mma Bosokun. The exercise stopped abruptly as electoral officials fled when the supporters attacked one another with dangerous weapons. However, the primaries in Lavun, Edati, Mokwa, Shiruru, Chanchaga, Boso, Gurara, among other local government areas, were reported to be peaceful. Meanwhile, in Ogun, the primaries for the State House of Assembly and House of Representatives could not hold in the centers designated for the 5 legislative seats over alleged security threat. The PDP primary election official, Abimbola Ademuyiwa, said there was disagreement by party members, which almost resulted in a free-for-all among supporters of aspirants. Ademuyiwa disclosed that only 24 delegates were expected to vote for one of the 3 aspirants, but disagreements that ensued caused delay. Daily Trust reports that some aggrieved party members had conducted the primaries in some centers in Abeokuta metropolis, but the panel was said to have avoided the exercise because it was not monitored by the officials. Meanwhile, the State Secretary of the PDP, Sunday Sholarin, told newsmen that the primaries in Abeokuta metropolis were moved to the party secretariat for security reasons. He also denied allegations of delegates kidnapping. Late arrival of election materials and election officers delayed the conduct of the PDP House of Assembly primary elections in Kaduna State. At the election center for Ungwan-Sanusi in Kaduna South local government area, election officials and materials eventually arrived at 4:30, and in less than an hour, all the 13 delegates had voted. Hasadia Ukura won the primaries for Ungwan-Sanusi state constituency, defeating his closest rival Suleiman Mohammed with 9 votes to 4. He expressed confidence that the PDP will defeat the ruling All Progressive Congress in the general election. Lami Sadiq, who visited some of the centers in Kaduna Metropolis, reports.
This is one of several election centers where the PDP House of Assembly primaries is expected to take place. Earlier, the party's National Organizing Secretary Umar Baturi had said the House of Assembly election was scheduled for 8 a.m. to 12 noon, while that of House of Representatives was scheduled for 2 p.m. However, as of 3:30 p.m., no election had taken place in any of the centers across Kaduna. When contacted, the State Secretary in Kaduna State, Ibrahim Usunu, said they were presently posting election officers.
The incumbent member representing Amak Buhari Federal Constituency, Micah Jiba, on Sunday won the People's Democratic Party PDP primaries for the constituency. Micah polled the 68 votes from the delegates to defeat 2 other aspirants, Onyogu Raymond and Abdurrahman Ismaila, who both scored no vote. Secretary, National Electoral Committee of the party, Olubumi Oguntebiji, who announced the results, said the process was transparent and met the laid-down procedures. FCT Resident Electoral Commissioner Yahya Bello described the primaries as peaceful, free and fair. Speaking shortly after being declared winner, Micah thanked the delegates for their confidence in him and assured that he would continue to do his best if given another chance to represent the constituency. And still talking politics, former Sokoto State Governor Attahiru Bafarawa says the decision of the People's Democratic Party to open its 2023 presidential contest is done in the interest of the nation. Bafarawa, who speaks exclusively to Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman, also backed the resolution of the party to go with the existing delegates template during its forthcoming national convention. The report.
Attahiru Bafarawa ruled Sokoto State as governor between 1999 and 2007 under the platform of APP and later AMPP before his defection to the Democratic People's Party DPP, under whose platform he ran for the presidency. He says it is wrong for anyone to think that decision of the National Executive Committee of the party to throw open its presidential contest was done to favor certain interests rather than a collective move to secure the party's victory.
I happen to be a member of the zoning committee. All the committees that were set up, I happen to be a member of it. And when we took that decision, there's not only Northern took that decision, the whole North and South take this decision, and we took it to NEC, and the same NEC is national body. We took that decision again. So it's not a question of North or South. As far as I'm concerned, PDP is for Nigerians.
Currently, a PDP chieftain, Bafarawa, uploaded the party's leadership was taken to the existing delegates election template, which recognizes only elected delegates at the congresses.
INEC gave guidelines, and we asked INEC to extend some. They said they cannot extend even an hour to us. So we have to go to abide by the rules of the game. INEC is an umpire. Whatever they told us, we have to do what they have told us to do.
The former state governor also speaks on the existing power retention moves by some northern power brokers.
As a Muslim, I know nobody gives power but to God. If they are written in my Quran, nobody gives power but to God. So whatever anybody, whether you are a power broker, whether you are what, nobody gives power to anybody except to God. So we cannot compete with God. Whoever God chooses, that's our own position.
The major opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, has scheduled its national convention for Saturday, 28th of May, where its presidential candidate will emerge. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Senator Ali Ndume has described the story of his attack by some APC supporters and delegates in Biu local government area as fake. He also described his unaccounted expenditure of alleged 4.2 billion naira constituency project as spurious and baseless.
It is equally distributed to members. Some have more advantage. That is what the allegation they are talking about. Even the figures, you can't get it. Now you are telling me 4 billion. Somebody, what they was written was 2.4 something billion. And another write-up was saying 1.6 billion. So as a man, you can see from there, but that is not. Is it not from institution? Is this money taken and given to senators? No. The thing that happens is, during the budget, you say, okay, you have so-so million, 200 million or 100 million for so-so project. Then the question that you ask, you will be domiciled in the appropriate MDA. When that is done, the most that you can do is, because we insist that contractors should be sourced locally. If it is my constituency project, I will not be comfortable with somebody from Lagos coming to do my constituency project.
Now to matters of insecurity, where at least 2 policemen were killed and 5 others injured when gunmen suspected to be Boko Haram fighters ambushed them along Maiduguri-Damaturu Road, Borno State, on Sunday. Reports say the insurgents attacked the policemen at Goni Matari village between Mainok and Jakana in Kaga local government area of the state and burnt 2 patrol vehicles. Meanwhile, the killings in Anambra State continued this weekend, with at least 7 persons being the victims of the latest dastardly act in the state. Okechukwu Okoye, a lawmaker in the state, was beheaded on Saturday, and by Sunday, more victims had been killed. Among them were 4 siblings and their mother, who were shot dead at Isolo, Orumba North local government area of the state. The State Police Public Relations Officer Ikenga Tochukwu said he could not confirm the incident as the details are sketchy, adding that the command will give more details when it gets more information. Meanwhile, tension has heightened in Anambra as a result of the incessant killings. The killings have been on the rise since Professor Charles Soludo assumed office as governor. Now, violence between farmers and herders is a decade-long problem in Nigeria. The problem, which has worsened in recent years, has made government in affected states to seek lasting solutions. In Sokoto State, the government has confirmed that its plan to settle pastoralists through the cattle breeding program is helping to minimize farmers-herders conflicts across the state. The State Commissioner for Animal Health says the scheme is also generating employment to hundreds of people. Trust TV's Idris Jibril visited some of the livestock farms in Sokoto and now reports.
A new calf joins a herd that has grown over the past 4 years. These animals are a mix of local and foreign breed and the result of government scheme to improve herd management and minimize conflicts between farmers and herders.
We are one of the few states with minimal farmer-herders clash. We usually have an interaction between our farmers and herders. And each program we want to conduct will invite both parties. For instance, we have a place, a village in Dogondaji, where you'll find farmers, herders coexisting in the same place. Both of them are farmers, both of them are herders. And the demarcation of these grazing reserves have helped us in minimizing such clashes.
As competition for land and water intensified between livestock farmers and those growing crops, the Sokoto state government introduces this cattle breeding program in 2011 to stem violence between farmers and herders. The state government is also expanding the program.
This cattle breeding program has some components. We have the artificial insemination and embryo transfer. We have the pasture development, the dairy component, as well as the live animals. The state government imported about over 117 exotic breeds of animal that comprises of Brangus, Jersey, a combination of Holstein and Jersey as well as Holstein itself. These we distributed to 13 cluster farmers who have now replicated in the reproduction of these animals.
In clusters with a constant supply of feed and supplement, farm authorities say business is thriving and that milk production has grown by 300% within the last few years. As for milk production, before now we used to get 20 to 30 liters, but now we are getting up to 50 liters in a day. And if you come here as early as 8 a.m. in the morning, you will get that milk available. The cattle farmers are encouraged to grow further for their herds and veterinary skills, including setting up cooperatives and send their produce to government or private milk processing facilities. Nigeria's cattle population is currently estimated at 40 million, 3 million here in Sokoto State. But while conflict continues between farmers and herders across many parts of northwestern region, Sokoto State government says its plan to settle pastoralists is bringing calm and raising outputs across the states. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Sokoto.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. Still to come on the news, traveling at night persists despite the hazards. Find out why after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now a look at our top stories. APC postpones presidential screening as PDP primaries fraught with controversy in some states. And Boko Haram killed 2 policemen, injured 5 others in an ambush in Borno State. Now moving on to other stories, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has declared the Rivers State Accountant General, Fubara Siminai, and 3 other Rivers State government officials wanted. Siminai, who is the governorship aspirant, is wanted over a suspected 117 billion naira fraud, alleged criminal conspiracy, money laundering, misappropriation of public funds, and abuse of office. Other Rivers State government officials declared wanted are Harrison Oba Bessie, Prince Will, Lekia V. Bukpo, and Dagogo Roderick Abere. In a wanted list posted on its website, the FCC also declared Maxwell Odum of the defunct MBA Forex wanted for allegedly defrauding investors of 213 billion naira. The suspects were declared wanted by the EFCC for offences ranging from money laundering to obtaining money by false pretense, fraud, internet-related offences, and issuance of dud checks. Now, travelling by night and luxury buses has been the choice of many Nigerians travelling long distances. However, with increasing hazards that come with travelling at night, it seems many Nigerians are gradually discontinuing the habit. Now, Trust TV News sampled the opinions of a cross-section of passengers who still prefer to travel at night. Sagir Ibrahim reports.
Many Nigerians use these luxurious buses to travel during the night because it is more affordable and cheaper. However, with the rising cases of insecurity, kidnapping, armed robbery, among others, are they still motivated to travel in the night?
It just depends on the person's business schedule. You understand? Some people like traveling in the night so that tomorrow morning they'll get to where they are going instead of getting where they are going in the night when they enter morning bus.
The transport is cheap and we love traveling in the night because there is no traffic. Basically because Nigerian weather, African weather is very harsh, so traveling at night, the weather is more comfortable, more convenient, and that's my major reason.
Despite the hazards involved, passengers for various reasons still prefer traveling in the night.
I'm being discouraged, but you know, life on its own is a risk. We don't know when it will happen, but it doesn't pray for it. You understand? It will not because of kidnapping and stealing, highway robbery, it will stop this night movement. Like I said before, some people prefer night movement so that tomorrow morning they will get to where they are going.
I believe that, man, in God, all things are possible. Even in your house, you can still die. Soldiers will go to war front and die. So if you trust in your God and you have your free mind, you can go anywhere and come back safe.
Corps Public Enlightenment Officer of the Federal Road Safety Corps, BC Kazim, also explained that although there is no law banning night travels, it is safer to travel in the day.
Night travel is a legitimate journey or venture, but there are hazards. Help does not come readily available when there's a problem. There are no laws banning anybody from traveling in the night, but with attendant hazards and risks involved, it is better not to travel in the night if you can afford to.
Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
And owing to the widely held negative beliefs by some sections in Nigeria about the left hand, most parents are usually not keen about allowing their children to perform major tasks like writing or eating with the left hand. People believe that the right hand is meant to be used for performing important functions, including eating and writing. Hence, parents tend to force those who show signs of being left-handed to change to the right hand. In this report, Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbadi examines the thoughts on left-handers.
In human biology, handedness is an individual's preference to use one hand, known as the dominant hand, due to its being stronger, faster, or better in dexterity. From handshakes to eating and writing, as well as passing stuff from one person to another, the right hand is deemed as the more appropriate to perform these tasks. It is even more so when left-handed people use their hands to pass things to elderly people with their right hands, because using the left hand could be seen as disrespect to elders. The fact that most people use their left hands to clean up after using the toilet makes people conclude some left-handed people may not be too decent. In some Nigerian communities, people attribute evil to left-handedness because native prayers and libations intended for evil are done with the left hand. The Latin word for left, sinister, also means unlucky, evil, and suspicious, while the French word for left, gauche, means clumsy. For this reason, parents and teachers tend to force left-handed children to change to the right hand to avoid bad luck in the future. Meanwhile, there are many left-handed people who are successful in life. These include former President of the United States Barack Obama and the Minister of Works in Nigeria, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, SAN. For Mr. Maruf Adegboyega, his teacher in primary school beat him for writing with his left hand, but his parents told the teacher to allow him to continue with the left hand since it is convenient for him.
I don't see it as left hand. I just see it as the hand that is convenient for me to do things. It's like other people that are not using left, that are using their right hand. So I think both are good.
A Christian cleric, Bishop Sheung Adeoye, who said his parents succeeded in making him and his siblings change from writing with the left hand, acknowledged that the change has some effects.
I was told that when I was a baby, I was using the left hand, and they had to force me, beat me, until I began to use my right. What was the complaint then was I was using my left to eat, rather than using my right to eat. And I still had the effect today. I believe that I was really doing that because up to today when I play football, the time I was playing football, I was really using my left better than my right.
Dr. Ayodele Owadi, who forced one of his children to change to the right hand, said such action amounts to placing a burden on the child, adding that it is not necessary.
There's no need to force a child to switch from the left hand to the right hand. If a child is endowed to use the left hand, let us leave him to continue to do so.
For Abdul Malik Adeleke, the captain of Golden Boys Football Club Oshogbo, he is happy to be a left-footed footballer, and he scored many goals for his team that won the 16th edition of the Surat soccer competition in the state recently.
I use my left foot to do so many things and to give my team victory.
Now for a look at the economy, where the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otumba Adeni Adebayo, says the use of verifiable measuring scales to sell tubers and other agricultural products will soon commence to ensure that buyers derive maximum value for their money. The minister, who made the remark during a press conference to commemorate the 2022 World Metrology Day at the weekend in Abuja, stated that this was to prevent sharp practices during trade and allow sellers get the correct amounts for their products. Adebayo noted that the use of scales in trade was to allow worldwide uniformity of measurement and ensure comparability of measurement and promote trade through the reduction of barriers. And on the foreign scene, Anthony Albanese has been sworn in as Australia's 31st Prime Minister as his incoming Labour government takes power after almost a decade of coalition rule. The weekend's election result has the Liberal Party on the hunt for a new leader, with Peter Dutton emerging as the most likely replacement for Scott Morrison. Mr. Albanese was sworn in with his deputy, Richard Marles. US President Joe Biden phoned Mr. Albanese late on Sunday, congratulating him on the win. There has been uncertainty about what role Mr. Marles, the incoming Deputy Prime Minister, will hold. As Deputy Leader, he can pick his portfolio, and there's speculation he wants to return to defense. Mr. Albanese wants the National Cabinet to meet in person in the coming weeks as he sets about implementing his agenda. And in sports, the Golden State Warriors are one win away from the NBA Finals after beating the Dallas Mavericks 109-100 to go 3-0 up in the Western Conference Playoff Final. The Dallas Mavericks held a 48-47 lead at the halftime, but took control in the third quarter, with Curry scoring 11 points to help move the Warriors 78-68 ahead before holding off the Mavericks in the final quarter. The Mavericks went 2-0 and 3-2 down to the Phoenix Suns in the previous round of the playoffs before winning the best-of-7 series 4-3. And with that, we wrap up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.